ahead. So I started out making a tomahawk, and I had a 1/4 inch thick by 3 inch wide by 8 inch long piece of, I believe it's some sort of medium carbon steel, could be even mild steel, I don't know. But I went ahead and forged out a wrapped eye body for a tomahawk that I'm working on. And I'm going to try something different this time. I got the body forged out. I kind of forged a bow tie, wrapped it around my tomahawk drift, got it close, left a gap in here, took it over to the belt sander, cleaned up everything inside, pre-fluxed it, and then I went ahead and put a bead of weld across the inside of the eye here. This is MIG weld, and along the top here and here. And the plan is, or the idea of that is to kind of almost seal up this tomahawk body to prevent as much oxygen as I can from getting in there. And I'm going to forge from the back to the front and push everything out, and then we'll install the bit and forge weld that in. So I've never done it like this before. I'm just going to see if it kind of help prevent some oxidation and eye separation when I go to run my drift down through the eye hole to get all that set up for the handle. But I'm going to give this a try. I've never done it like this before. It may be a complete fail. It may be a great success. I don't know yet. So this forge, it does forge weld, but yeah, it's really like right on the verge of not forge welding. So it will, but it takes a lot of propane and it takes a lot of time. So this is almost like a canister type idea where you just seal up the canister and no oxygen can get inside, so you don't have to worry about any kind of flux or borax or anything like that, because without the oxygen the steel will just bond to itself. So I'm going to go ahead, turn the forge back on. It's somewhat hot still. I've been working on this with the forge off, but I'll get this thing back up to forge welding temperature, or up to forge welding temperature, and I'm going to start forge welding this. So hopefully this works out, because if it does, it's just a really quick process to stop after I get this roughly shaped. I took it over to the belt sander, did some profiling, did some cleaning up inside, squeezed it together in the vise, and just ran some welds on the top and the bottom. So yeah, I mean, if this does work, it's just one quick extra step after I have the wrapped body, kind of close to where it's going to be on the drift, this, that, and the other. So I'm gonna go ahead, shut up, get this thing back in the forge, and get the forge welding. One thing that might happen is these welds here and here, they may fail, and this thing just might pop open anyway. So at that point, I'm just back to just forge welding it like I always do. So I don't know, let's see what happens. And yeah, if this works out, then this might be a quick extra step to just kind of reassure that these welds are strong and it'll last the customer for quite a long time. So all right, let's get started. I'm gonna start to run this drift down inside the wrap. See if I get any kind of separation. Another thing I'm doing is watching the wrap cool down. And what I'm looking for is kind of like a difference in the cooling at different rates. See how this is not forged welded where the bit's going to go, and you can tell it's cooling down. It's two separate pieces of metal. This sounds solid and it feels solid, and it looks like it's cooling down all together. That's a pretty good indication that my weld is solid, and yep, good sign. It only took a few forging welds to get to this point. So normally that process takes a little bit longer because, like I said, with this forge, for some reason I've been having trouble getting stuff to stick. But once it sticks, I can continue to work with it. It's just that initial setting the weld. But I think, welding these sides and in the back, and of course I had to leave the front open because everything needs somewhere to go. All the impurities, the flux, everything needs to go out the front. But just help keeping that oxygen out, I think, really set this weld a lot faster. So let me get it back in the forge. I'm going to continue to work on this eye, then we'll think about setting that bit. So I got the drift. In a good spot on the, I'm sorry, I got so I have the head on a good spot on the drift, and I'm going to stop there. I'm going to leave a little bit of room for fine tuning after, when I set the bit. So I do need to open this up. I'll probably have to put it in the vise to do it. Let's just give it a quick try. It might work. I gotta open this up so I can clean it, get the bit in there, flux it. I'm gonna open it up in the vise, but I'm gonna stop right here as far as the eye goes, and yeah, we'll get the bit set in there and get that set. So. So we got that snugged up. It's actually welded a little bit right. But I need to undo it so I can clean it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and tap this bit in there. Alright, see what I can do.
Alright, so I'm going to set this drift a little further. The next stop for this is going to be on the belt sander, so hot. So I'm thinking, I think I'm going to have to take one more heat on that. So in the last scene, we just finished up all the forging, went ahead and stopped for the night. I came out here this morning and went ahead and took the tomahawk over to the bandsaw, kind of cut off some extra pieces on that bit that were sticking out. Then I took it to the belt sander. I did all the profiling. After the profiling was done, I did a heat treat. After the heat treat was done, I went ahead and kind of put an edge on it and hafted it, put it in a handle. So this is how she turned out. Go ahead and get you some close-ups here. So I had ground past all of the MIG welding, so all the welds inside here and here look very nice. I had no separation, laying the bead inside the eye, so that was nice when I was forming it with the drift. And yeah, the overall shape I think turned out pretty nice. This one's a little bit wider than most traditional tomahawks, but that's what I was kind of going for, something a bit broader. I left the cutting edge a bit flatter. Typically I make this a little bit more round too, but I wanted this one to be kind of flat. Just trying out a different shape. But all in all, I think the little bit of extra time it took to lay down that MIG weld bead on the top and bottom and inside, it saved a tremendous amount of time when I went to weld this thing together. So normally it takes me a couple of heats just to kind of get it to stick. And a lot of times what happens when it happens like that is I've had oxidation form inside the two pieces, and yeah, you can get some poor welds if that happens. So you get delaminations inside your weld that formed because there was had oxidized and caused scale to form inside the head when you're trying to weld it together. So yeah, that's a really nice insurance policy. If you have a MIG welder, just go ahead and kind of seal up the seams and try to keep as much air out of what you're going to weld, and yeah, it makes a huge difference. So typically with a solid fuel forge, you can get your fire and stuff set, so they say. I've never used one, to make sure that there is no oxygen in the area where you're forge welding, so that makes a huge difference. Something like that is harder to achieve with a propane forge, especially one this large. So, but all in all, I think the process worked out good. I think I'm going to incorporate it into all my tomahawks now, because I really think it did. It really did speed up the process. So, so I'm going to go ahead, shut up, get you some close-ups, a little slideshow, if you will, and get this thing listed up on Etsy. So if you're interested in a tomahawk, it will be listed shortly. And if you don't mind, if you like this video, remember to like and share, subscribe. You can also check me out on Instagram, where I sometimes post pictures of products, or projects I should say, that I'm not making a video on. So like right now, I got some pictures going up on the African safari knife that we forged out in my last video, but we got some pictures of the knife after heat treat, and we got some pictures of the knife after a 220 grit hand sand finish. So making progress on that one as well. But also check out Instagram. I put up some pictures. I have an addition to my my chimes of shame. So I had a little bit of a mishap on a project I had going on in the background as well. So that was kind of a bummer. So you can, you know, find out all about that. You just go over to my Instagram. And yep, we're gonna get on to something else here. So I'll let y'all go, and thank you very much.